Well, Shema Israel Adonai Lochenu Adonai Chad. After the call, Babekabe call, Nafshekabe call, Me Odeka. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And you must love the Lord with all your might, with all your heart, with all your strength. My name is Rabbi Humphrey, and I believe that we're going to have a wonderful time in this exclusive interview. Thus, as PCG TV, in thy light, surely there is light. Today, I have a wonderful team in the studio with me, and we're going to discuss about the Women Fellowship of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. Interesting. You know, it's quite an interesting group, and I believe that we're going to learn a lot from them. So don't go anywhere, just stick around with me, and surely when we return back after the commercial break, we're going to learn a lot from the Women's Fellowship, and also to discuss what they are going to do within the Women's Week, and also the details, the activities that are going to happen within the Women's Week. Before we go on a quick commercial break, there is a particular hymn that I love so much. It's a train wuraboa train yamiko. Fa tons na wo hu do. Hwenwa. No rinya woda na wo hu hia. Mun kam fa osuda. Fem ha mane boni eni owu. Yesu ebe kire wo se ne dom eyi dom. The last part is what I always want to emphasize. Was Yesu be kire wo se ne dom eyi dom. Jesus will let you know. He will really let you know that his grace saves plenty. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. Well, folks, you're welcome back. This is PCG TV, and my name is Rabbi Humphrey, and I'm here in the studios with a wonderful team, and we are going to talk about the Women's Fellowship of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. And I am here with Mrs. Faustina Amo Usu Budu, who happens to be the national president of the Women's Fellowship, and also Mrs. Comfort Ewuku, who happens to be the national secretary of the Women's Fellowship of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. And it is the Women's Week, so definitely we're going to talk about activities of the Women's Week. So just stick around with us as we get into the details. Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you are doing well.
Yes. By God's grace.
We thank God so much. There is a particular hymn now that before I started this whole introduction and everything, it just kept on coming to my head because my congregation, the women there normally sing it, and I would want you to help me to sing it, if only I'm getting it right. It goes like this.
Moma yen sorry, and me anoma, moma yen can boom, na ye bia home.
Wow.
And yanoma, moma yen sorry, and yanoma. Moma yen kambo na ye biako. Say ye me moma yen fadidi no boni siye. Imbom son Christo ye ampa. Ifise okaye hum. Now near Wahoda.
Wow, Ampa Eradini Wahoda. Mama, today we are going to discuss about the Women's Fellowship and the way you are dressed, the way you've presented yourself. Maybe I'm just tempted that I would get into even the dress code as to what actually it means. But before we get there, Somebody watching will ask, what is the Women Fellowship about and where did it came from? What is the origin of the Women's Fellowship? So, Mama Faustina.
Thank you. The Women Fellowship started when the missionaries came to Ghana to propagate the gospel. You know, when they were coming, they came with their wives. And so the wives saw that there was the need to train the converts' wives and the female converts.
Oh, okay.
And so they brought them together and they started teaching them handicrafts like knitting, crocheting. Yes, they started teaching them that. Not only the handicrafts, they also taught them memory verse from the Bible. They taught them how to pray. They also gave them basic domestic training like cooking, washing, and the like. You see, they did all these things to make the wives better wives and manage their homes very well. And so, at that time, it was not widespread throughout the country. It was centered around a Kropong, a Bri, Krobodumase, Abugu, Abetifi, Ebisa. And so, as the groups kept on, they named the groups Women's Class.
Women's Class.
Women's Class.
Oh, okay.
Women's Class. So, maybe if you have heard, when your mother in the past was attending meeting, she would say, I'm attending women's class.
Yeah, call woman class.
Yeah, call woman class. That is how the missionaries' wives named the groups.
Wow.
So it was women's class. So as it was spreading, they saw that there was a need to train people to be leaders for these groups. So they trained some girls. After they returned from their training, they made them leaders of these groups. Yes. And so in 1942, the then moderator, very Reverend S.S. Odronko, when he returned from Scotland, when he went there, he saw how the women were involved in women's work. So immediately he came, he discussed everything with the church, and they decided to bring all the smaller groups, the women. At that time, it was centered around where the missionaries were decided. And so they decided to bring all these groups together under one umbrella so that they will manage it very well. And so they brought all the smaller groups in the congregations together. And then they set up a committee called Women's Work Central Committee.
Women's Work
Central. So it was the governing body, so that they will manage the group to get effective administration. So it spread throughout the country now. I think most of the congregations have women's fellowship. Yes, and so the governing body also now, we don't have the Women's Work Central Committee. We have National Executive Council, and that is the governing body. We formulate policies and all those things, where I am the national president and my sister is the secretary. So this is just a brief history of the women's fellowship.
So basically, it was in order to help the women to have some handiworks, and also to become better wives.
Better wives, manage their homes very well. That is why they also taught them the basic domestic things. So at least they will know how to cook, how to iron their things, and all the scrubbing. They taught them all, everything about home management. Yes. And so, some of them even married. When they were trained, there were some ministers who married these girls, these women who got the training.
Because they have now become, better women. To help. And before I get into the impact, in those times, Now, from 50 years to say a time, or it was a man now.
Yes, it was all the women. You know, at that time, they have just converted, accept Christ.
Okay.
And yes, you know, when the missionaries came, so it was all the women that they grouped them to teach them these skills.
Okay.
Yes.
So whether you were in those times, whether you were 15 years, you were 20 years, you were, because that was the beginning of the whole thing. So they could just put all of them together. And
Together, yes, and then teach them.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Mama, Comfort, with the impact, what has been the impact of the women's fellowship? We see woman class. What has been the impact of the women's fellowship in the Presbyterian Church and even the nation as a whole?
Like President rightly said, even though they train them in domestic chores to become better wives, they also train them in church activities. So we have, the impact has been great in the Presbyterian Church. We see women as leaders. We see some as osofo. Most of our female osofos, they came through the women's fellowship. We see catechists. They all came through the women's fellowship. And it is out of the women's fellowship that we have the minister spouses conference.
Oh, okay.
They were fellowship members when they attended the first conference, when they put them aside, just discuss about your home. So it was through that they got the ministers spouses. Yes. So it is.
That's why my mother preached plenty meetings.
And then now the women, we have a lot of women praying.
Yes.
Women praying, the burdens of husbands and children are on the women. They are doing a lot. So the impact is great. Sorry. Na ma.
Oh, Debbie. Sorry.
So,
and woman class once one ma.
ɛno ne ade no.
So I think the impact has been very great.
Na asɔfo a yɛwɔ no bebree, ɔmo maame no yɛ women class or women fellowship for. Praise asɔfo bebree went through the nurturing of man women's fellowship. Impact in there.
Yes, and it's asɔfo yere nom no kra no, the women, the spouses fellowship and if women class and a buy. Wow, that's very, very powerful. Now, San Yumeya, a man I want to ask, na omoya no muchira omonyo mano. Was it like they would have to pay before they teach them, or it was done for free?
It was done for free.
In those times, even as at now.
Yes.
It is something that is being
done for free
in order to help
the
for
women.
people
Yes,
to
train them.
Okay, that's very fine. Somebody will ask, women fellowship for. Now that I've gotten the national president, I said, in Kobe, more uniforms be. What constitutes that?
Sure. Sana, nipa bebree adwene yɛ ɔmo sɛ bia yɛ uniforms ne ɛdɔɔso. Na yɛwɔ bra yɛfira ebiara. Yɛwɔ bra yɛfira ebiara. Ɛmaa ne deɛ, they are aware when to wear what.
Okay.
They are aware of that.
Okay.
Enti abere biara sɛ ɛba sɛ sɛbi obi firi mu a, you cannot wear this.
Yes.
So we have uniform purposely for funeral.
For funeral.
Yes.
And only the emotion white, the emotion
And
black
then
was.
yes, black was there. Now
Okay.
you white.
Okay.
Enti when so say yeah invite ye baby. Now we wear the spa.
Okay.
And then as we are going to celebrate the Women's Week, the Thanksgiving, we are going to wear the badge. The badge cloth.
The yellow.
The yellow one, if you have seen that one. We are
And I'm
going.
friend about this.
Almost friend kontomre.
Those days,
Kontomire.
no friend kontomire.
Man,
Man,
no one about this and so.
there you any about
About you
this.
said ye ni about you said.
Sir.
There ye ni about you said kontomre. Who say ye question in the muna. Yeah.
It's a flower.
I say flower, hibiscus flower. Adam, if you have seen that.
Yes, I've seen that one.
uniform. Yes.
Yes, I've seen that one.
The hibiscus
Okay.
flower. Yes.
That's
That is
fine.
what you wear on Sunday.
On Sunday.
You be friend
Okay.
for the Thanksgiving.
Okay. And
So,
white and also so.
White and also for
Divine service.
yeah, do what when we say be a fellowship member, you have to induct you into the fellowship.
Okay.
And so you wear that one.
Okay.
And during first Sundays of every year, that is what we wear. Yeah, soft will be choir.
Okay.
And also so that is what we wear. Just a beer soft na can say beer yenshwe, but ideally, that is what we wear. Yeah, and say your divine service, communion days, and also your sister white and rano. Yes, so we have time beer yefra and tomano.
Nti montuma mo frɛ sɛ moko program bi invite me bi a
say I invite a program bi if I say government ye program bi sorry ye program bi wo tenant say omo ye talk on gender based nti ye kon we ne fry.
Wow.
Yes.
I never knew. There are a lot of things I learned on the show. There are a lot of things I learned on the show, and I believe it's really helping me personally, and even you as a viewer, it's really helping you. Because today, if for nothing, I've learned all the different clothes of the Women Fellowship, when they wear it, what time they wear it, and the purpose for they wearing it. Stick around with me, don't go anywhere. My name is Rabbi Humphrey. This PCG TV will be right back. Well, viewers, you're welcome back. This is PCG TV. My name is Rabbi Humphrey, and this is an exclusive interview with the Women's Fellowship of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. And I still have on set with me here Mrs. Faustina Amo Owusu Budu, the National President of the Women's Fellowship, and also Mrs. Comfort Ewuku, who happens to be the National Secretary, and we're learning a lot. I'm enjoying this particular interview because I'm learning a lot on set. So please stick around, don't go anywhere. We will actually let you understand a lot about the Women's Week that is actually coming in. So that's what we are getting into right now. Mama, with the Women's Week, what exactly is going to happen? Probably share with us the theme and also the activities that have been lined up.
Okay. The Women's Week is organized once a year.
Okay.
Every year, the women are given that space and period to celebrate the week-long activities, which is clamorized by the Mother's Day on Sunday.
Okay.
So the theme for this year's celebration is Jesus Christ, the Alpha and Omega. Then the sub-theme for the women is Jesus Christ, the foundation and focus of a Christian woman. So that is the theme. And in this year's theme, we expect the women to understand the theme itself for the church, and then the theme itself for the women.
That's right.
Yes. And the activities, Sunday, the program was launched on Sunday in all the congregations.
Okay.
All the congregations over the country, they launched the activities. Monday, the groups have different days for their meetings.
Okay.
So the first day for the program is the meeting day for all the groups in the congregations.
Okay.
So on that day, so we term it as the first day or day one.
Okay.
So the day one, the activity is an exposition on the theme.
Okay.
Well, it is that theme that will carry us throughout the whole year.
That's true.
So there's an exposition on the theme. Okay. And then the day two, as National we centered on 3 days so that the other days, the locals can use the other days for activities that they have, special activities that they have. So the second day, there will be a talk on domestic violence, gender. You know, it is on the ascendancy.
Yeah.
So we'll speak about it. So that we are talking about gender-based violence because there are people amongst us who are going through these challenges. But the victims are not spotted. We don't know them. Even if you know, how do you help?
Yes.
So in the exposition or in the talk, we will be, yes, we will understand why these people are amongst us, but we cannot do anything about their situations. So
Some can't even voice it out.
That some can't even voice
they
it
are
out.
afraid.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if he comes to even voice it out,
Who
will listen?
Listen.
Who will believe?
That is.
Sometimes to even the partners that they are talking about, very innocent,
Yes.
and you will not know that this person can
That
do
is
this.
it. That
And
is
even
right.
when it happens, let's say our egu
And now say,
and I say or packing in your mouth.
and now say,
I think it's a good thing
yeah,
to
yeah,
really
we talk about we talk about it. They invite resource persons, knowledgeable resource persons in this area,
That's good.
so that they will talk about it. You realize that during most of these talks, victim nankasa
Yes.
because hitting it hits the person.
Yes.
So see that the person is sobbing, and through that, you can bring them out and then maybe console them or talk to them, counsel them, yes. And later on, you refer them to whoever you want to refer them to, yes. And then on the third day, we have visitation of the sick. So you are to visit a hospital, a children's home, the sick, our members who are sick at home. And in this visit, you are not visiting empty-handed. You are visiting with something.
Wow.
So this is the program. Then there will be a cleanup in the various congregations. Some opt for cleanup, so there will be this cleanup to take care of the environment. And then on the Sunday coincides with the Mother's Day. So the women will cap it or we climax it with the Mother's Day.
Wow. Is this something that is programmed to make sure that the climax is always a
Yes, previously the Women's Week is in April. So, but because of the Mother's Day, and Asorim Penyufo decided that no, we cannot celebrate Mother's Day and then the women's. So they made sure that it is programmed in such a way that the climax is on the Sunday, that is Mother's Day.
Wow, that's very powerful. So within the 3 days that National has set aside, and that means that the congregation can start from Wednesday to Friday, and that will be it.
Or from Monday.
Or from Monday to Friday to the Sunday.
Yes.
But definitely it will start from a Sunday to the following Sunday. But a man so dear moya money face. Moya mamma dear me kaise mi so na minim de ntia ba na manage emeku fo ho pa omokaso ye koya ye. You have something like that, so you this will be I say could be an answer. I'm
Still I
be a crown basket.
Still
Say Marcus won't be ye pa. Not just say Mumma any J. Mumma sorry any J. A software any J. Yamin Shramu. Amen. Into week way there. Anyone needing. It's about your woman fellowship when anyone needing.
Your Yeah, but it's also be for the Hunjim, especially talk no.
Say any women
Talk
fellowship.
no gender-based violence no. So they know all kind of. Sorry, it's not only the women who are being abused, and it's not only the men, everybody. And so we want the church to organize this, come together. Now, after that, victims, that courage, now out. They needed counseling, they will say, and catch that, sorry, say a new women fellowship for program, sorry, no, and organize it. Then sorry,
Mama, as I'm kind, Mestre said, and really a memoir cast street to camera, catcher, especially session, ne, and penny for ne, and Qualani, a merco for the Moyadi. Obie dini dia, a merco for one and merco for Agada, no more support. Into Winsor Yamudan. I just want you to speak to the nation, just speak to everybody within the church. Speak there, just in a minute before we go on a commercial break. Just speak to them, inviting them to be part of the whole week celebration.
So I want to entreat everybody in the church, session members, agents, everybody, women, men, and everybody in the church to come together and support the women, especially the gender-based violence day. We should all come together and support this and listen so that together we can stop this violence in every way. To be ambra na on support to man na inisa a day na enye kama we enye manko asem so ba no kokotie be ma na ma nkola ma yentumi enya problem no ne sibre enti na e kan ni say obi a asofo session ene obi a emra na ye nyina this week ye mom eni ema day na enye fe na yedum say omude nyame mmoa ebeyesa
Mo yadi nyame mmoa ebeyesa amana ye fedodo Presbyterian for when your Presbyterian ni kra na say opese o join ya obetimi aba na dwumadi na aye fe na aye kama. We go on a quick commercial break. When we come, we're just going to take some few acknowledgements, then we climax this particular interview. Stick around with me. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back. This is PCG TV. My name is Rabbi Humphrey, and we're having a wonderful discussion with the Women's Fellowship of the Presbyterian Church, the executives. We have the national president here and the national secretary. And I'm telling you, it's a great discussion. We are just getting in to even end in just some few minutes. But if you just tune in, this is PCG TV. Mama, with this whole Women's Week, are there people that you would want to acknowledge and to thank from probably the national level, anybody that you would want to acknowledge?
Yes. First of all, on behalf of all the women in the church, I would like to say a very big thank you to the moderator. We thank him so much for his support, his encouragement and everything that has brought the fellowship this far. So we are grateful to him. We are also grateful to the clerk of General Assembly. We thank him so much. He has also supported this group to this far. And we say, Papa, thank you. The clan director and his department. Papa, Nyamishra, Yadawasri, for your support, your encouragement, everything. Whenever you call Papa, Papa will pick. He's ready for you anytime you want him. So, Papa, we are very much appreciative to you for what you have been doing to support we the women. We also thank our ministers, ministers in the various congregations. They are doing the work, the congregation. And so we say a very big thank you to all our ministers, the agents. We thank them all. We say God richly bless them.
Wow. Ma, would you add some to it?
And yes, for our members.
Wonderful.
Without our members, it is because of our members, that is why we are the executives.
That's it.
So we are so appreciative of our members, and then we love them with the love of God.
Yeah.
Then the past executives, our predecessors, yes, they've been phenomenal. They took us through orientation and all that, so we are so appreciative of whatever they are doing for us, and we are still with them. So we go, we ask them for assistance, and then they willingly do it. So we are so appreciative to them.
That's powerful. But before we end this whole interview, I would want you to speak to some woman out there. There are even some people within the church who are within the age bracket of the Women's Fellowship, who are not even part of the Women's Fellowship in a way. But I would want you to just look within the church, just speak to anybody who is listening. Any word of encouragement, any call to the women for them to join the Women's Fellowship. So you have to look straight into the camera and do that for me. In any language too. Well, you can do God for me.
Yo, inyeme Yehowa nuncho anye nyese. Ni nyuncho dieche ajonye. Fiake nyenu wohi. Shinoni make moko ni yose. Ake Women's Fellowship e ko obamiye. Okasioni babao. Ni ne na nuchumo. Eha ni bodi enchepo ona ekan. Ni asafomi no yo oba ka oba bata piu no ko bata sen no ka pa ka o tishia. Ewo mi foni ni mi nche yo fe yo. Ni Women Fellowship e fe ko la kono aka eba de ke hia badomo. Won pe nya awa tu ni ke bo ba miye no tase wo ona aka Women Fellowship emi ngon. Shike obamie oba na aka asomwa Women's Fellowship ye me akpe. Simon Women Fellowship oblaye akpe. Ewo won foni ne won chanye fem. No ni kwa after ya ke wiemo wona aka domestic violence. Yeshia. Mene ngame ame yame wume. Wume hu yame ngame. No wo wiemo ne ba gbele wo hingbe ye nibi ni ya no ye wo shia te. E ba gbele wo hingbe akeke ebale na kan te wo ba fi ten. Wo nyeme nye ha no wo fe wo ka wo ya wa ne ka o chinu chumo na mi ko ni kula ke wo gbe activity se na lo program fe na eke wo muna ke Mother's Day na ake bojo no chumo no chu yo bia here e wo yibi obi hu ba adwelebu ye na kan gbele mi no obetwa ne wo omanye aba osane ne
Niame so beka ne se de di kan no ye da mana se e wo ma ho keka afi bia wo mudidi e made afi so edru so eno nti de me kan ne so bia fa ne ho nji wo ma enye basre fo kra omombra na ye nyira ye nkam mob na ye ndi sa de na afi no menim se e be ye soronko na nyame be hyira ye ne kwasi ada no so a ye da nyame ase no bia fa ho keka na onyi bibi emmoa onyame adwuma na yenim se onyame a ohyira no obebue soro epon no obehyira obi biara obeyi bibi e de aboa nyame adwuma this week me ma wo mu nyina afisi apa na me fa sa kwanya so ama obi bia enkanka ma no happy Mother's Day onyame nkoso ama ya hoden na ye fa nyenda adwuma no amen.
Amen. Well, viewers, we come to the end of this wonderful exclusive interview with the Women's Fellowship. And we can't end without saying a special Happy Mother's Day to every woman, just as the national president ended with. Happy Mother's Day to every woman who is listening to us. And we will urge you to keep on praying for the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, the moderator, the clerk, all the ministers, the Women's Fellowship as a whole, and be a partaker. Try as much as possible to participate in every program that the Women's Fellowship is doing, and God richly bless everyone who keeps on watching this particular station. PCG TV, in the light, surely there is light. And we know we will keep on coming your way with very wonderful programs that will help educate, inform, and equip you to the glory of the Lord. So on this note, until same time, we'll be right back again. My name is Rabbi Humphrey, and this is PCG TV. Later out, is bye for now.